Hi, Dallas. Great job. Love the presentation. I think that you understand this project as well as anyone in this particular group. And I think that's really evident through a lot of the decisions you made, not only on your own, but also when prompted to think about something. I think that you showed that you were able to fit that kind of thinking within your concept, as opposed to thinking purely visual. So, in other words, if I say something like, "Well, what about the typeface in your what greeting card, whatever," and you're able to say, okay, that typeface isn't working, but I need to select another typeface, and I need to select it based on all of your research and all of the stuff that you preliminary work that you put into the project. That's just as important to me in this class as the final outcome. And I think you're in both categories in your situation. I think you're showing an outstanding understanding of the project. I think everything is good. I mean, we've talked about everything, and we've talked about your research, and so I'm just going to primarily talk about presentation for this last um, video crit. And this is something that's kind of I don't I it's always difficult. That's why I like it when students submit that the issue magazine, because it put your magazine in spreads as they're intended to look. It's really difficult to do that with Acrobat because all we have here is go to page display and enable two-page view. So I'm gonna guess that that is your spread and that's how your spreads look. And if that is the case, and I'm backing off here for a reason, and the reason I'm backing off here is so that you can see the enormous visual weight created by just your page treatment. I would rethink that. I don't think you really need to dedicate all of this to a simple page number. And as we look at the spread, it almost looks like it's pointing inward like this. And that's just because of that visual weight right there. If you remove that completely, you'll see this composition just really kind of fall right into place. Couple of inconsistencies. Your introduction typeface is a lot much smaller than your colors typeface. It's also presented in a different position within the page structure. Typography looks pretty good. I mean, is there a reason why the type here is different than the type here? That is one of the first things I would ask myself, or ask you if you were in front of me to answer. I'm going to go ahead and go to single page view. And we'll just continue the rest of this critique as such. So let's go back to type. Like I said, the type looks good. You don't have too many, you don't have any really, you do have some kind of weird word spacing, and that always happens with justify type. Here's a real good example right there in between relatively and deep. And then look at how tight the kerning is on this line right here, and then compare it with this line right here. Look how wide open that is. And that's just a byproduct of justified type. I've got some settings. If you want to research some settings to get rid of unusual word spaces in your justifying type settings, just go ahead and do a web search. If you're having difficulties, let me know. And I have some settings I can share with you that I've been using for years and work very well. This page looks good. Thanks so much for getting your web and print equivalent, color equivalents in here. This line of type here is extremely long. You're asking your viewer to go, this is probably over 100 characters. I'm sure this one is. And characters meaning that you count all the letters, all the punctuation, and all the spaces. And what I think is an optimal character count is anywhere between 50 and 60, I think, is good. Anything more than 60 gets very fatiguing on the eyes. As we can see, it's difficult to go from here to here, especially 4 or 5 different times. Remedy there is to turn this into a 2-column type spread, 2-column type composition. Next page. This is really good. This is excellent, and I think this page is constructed pretty well. It looks like this is going to be a 5-column grid, and I'm not real sure. Like, if you haven't used grid before, I suggest researching how to use a grid and how to place a grid over a page to ensure visual and mathematic harmony on each page. It really does work amazing. So that would be a recommendation there. This page looks good. This is good. Whenever you fix this area here. So, and that's one of the things I'm saying is that you're doing everything that you're really asked to do. Not like, okay, you do this and you do this, but as I mention things to you, I mean, I never say you should change this. I just recommend, right? And I think that you've picked up on those recommendations and shown a good, for a lack of a better word, mature decisions to employ these suggestions or not to. So good job there. These, I've never had a problem with these. I think these are great. I always liked them. And really, I think the strongest thing about these is the way they translate into the negative. Wonderful, wonderful pictograms. Drop shadow, really cheesy. Drop shadows are cheesy. Careful with the way you use them. This one has a shadow, so no worries there. Again, you get these really strong drop shadows. This one has one, this one doesn't. Looks great. I love this. This is just, I love it. I just love this. I think this is just such a badass page. Really, really good thinking there. It's often said that designers get hired for the way they think, and this is something that is so different but so appropriate that it's gonna say, oh hey, wow, that's nice, that's nice. Okay, everything else was looking good. Same type, look at the size of that headline compared to the others, and then that type, same thing, long line. Character count, everything's looking great. Placement shots are looking great. I'm noticing something. We've got a pretty significant problem here. Dallas says none of your images are cited, and neither is any of your research. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue. This stuff, anything that you didn't write completely right, has got to be cited. Anywhere you found this, or anywhere you got this information, or any of your research information in Alberta itself has got to be cited. More importantly, or just as importantly, all of these images, that one, that one, that one, these background images that you placed your logos on, those tennis shoe shots, all of those need to be cited. Those background shots, those will all have to need to be cited. So that's really my main concern is the research citations. So, all right, awesome job, great job. Hey man, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. I'll be available here for the next few days. So before it gets too late and we start losing contact, if you have any questions at all, please get with me. Thanks, Dallas. Great job.